I wanted to start with the happy meditation as a way to initiate the writing process because it's kind of a gift from the space. And it led to a conversation with P. Rot, who works at the temple, is from Myanmar, and has lived in Thailand for a long time. And it was really interesting to just get a different perspective about the space. So I found somewhere to write and get a bit inspired by, taking that also as a seed to initiate the writing. So I kind of started with the stories that P. Rot told me, different aspects about the temple, some history, the meditative process of the happy meditation, the 7 steps, and the story of the Mother Earth statue that I was writing next to. And then I thought about the magical realist technique that I would be working with today, hybridity, and how I can combine these together or blend them. I thought what could actually be blended here. It's fairly blended of a place already. We have tourism and a temple, Thai and Farang. It's Thai land that was donated, but it's mainly foreign investments that go into building it. So it's kind of taking a while. So what can we blend today? And it started then with this Mother Earth statue as a primary kind of invisible investor. Let me tell you the fragment of a story. In a feverish dream, a man was drowning, but he could not recall why. As he sank and thrashed around, thick cloths like a monk's robes weighed him down and flowed out in uncontrollable directions, only furthering his descent. He looked up, and there was a boat just above, and it looked so close, but also so impossibly far. He choked, inhaled water, and knew this could be the end. He didn't live near the ocean, own a boat, or have any reason to be there. He could not understand why his lungs filled with salty water as he sank into the dark. A long, dark, slithering shape broke the surface tension of the water and descended down to wrap gently around his arms, looking like a rope from its texture and color, but sliding around his body like a snake, sentient and with direction. The snake rope constricted and pulled him up above the surface with such speed the water was completely knocked out of him, and when his body reached and came out of the water, his gasp was only of fresh air, and despite just about drowning, he was breathing as if completely normal, if not with a little soreness in the throat and diaphragm. He looked around frantically. He was in his garden, surrounded by the trees, plants, grass he was familiar with. He was dangling, suspended above the ground. He followed the braided strands of dark, luminous hair, and they were held together and wrung out of the water with delicate hands that daintily but powerfully squeezed the water out onto the ground and out of her hair. The man collapsed to the ground and stared up at the woman. She hovered over his well, her body, without any apparent supports or wires or anything, just floated. She was crouching. The man couldn't speak. Instead, he coughed up more water. From where he could not tell, he had thought it had all been expelled, but an insane amount of water now projected from his mouth, and seaweed, barnacles, shells, coral, sand, and fish, all dead and wet on the grass, all lifeless, and dripping with water and bile on the vibrant, luscious grass. He looked up. "Thank you." As if she didn't hear him, she dunked her hair once more into his well. When she removed it to wring it out, many large, dark urchins fell from the strands and back into the well. I'm lucky those didn't come out of my stomach, he laughed. She smiled, but the smile was just as cynical and cruel as joyful or entertained. You should all be so lucky, right? She sneered. I'm not sure what you mean, hesitantly he replied. Well, I didn't pin you for one to self-reflect or meditate, and that's why I put you there and then rescued you. Well, I think gardening is meditative, said the man. Wait, what do you mean, put me there? Did you want me to suffer like that? Life is suffering, she says. Well, what does that mean, and what just exactly is going on here? Was all of that just some sick joke? It's more like your awakening. But I'm a good person. And who even are you to judge? The man said defensively. I'm Mother Earth. Well, just one incarnation. Well, I guess I'm sorry? The man apologized. Yeah, you should be. I mean, you are a good person, but you don't engage or share with the world. You may do right by yourself, your family, and follow laws, but there's nothing for me, for everyone, everything, because I give that constantly, without condition. But now I suffer more than ever, and I think basically you've become too complacent. But you're also doing well, and I think you could do something for me. Well, what could I possibly do for Mother Earth? He said. And if I can be honest, there's other ways to get my attention. I'm quite reasonable and would do something. Would you? She asks. I see your Facebook and social media, emails. Mother Earth produces a phone from her dress and scrolls through. These are all well intentioned, but what are you actually doing? I'm spreading awareness, he says. You can do more, she says. You can do actual things, and you will for me, for saving your life. But didn't you put me in danger? I mean, it doesn't even make sense. I I was pulled from my well, but the sea creatures and exactly, she says. But that's not an answer. And and you put me in danger, he exclaims. I put you on this earth. I mean, well, me. I can do whatever I want. Uh, okay. I can't really argue with that. What do I need to do? Are you sure? She questions. Can I be sure? he questions back. You must. How will I know what to do? She dunks him back into the well, and with a splash, he wakes up in his bed, shaking, wet, and covered in seaweed.